The billionaire Hunt brothers met their comeuppance after trying to corner the commodities market.
When the price of silver shot up toward $50 an ounce last year, Americans lined up in thousands to sell their silver bowls, candlesticks, knives, and forks to be melted down into bullion.
Prices soared, tripling to $6 an ounce by the end of 1978, then surging to $30 by the end of 1979, peaking a couple weeks later at around $50 in early 1980.
What if I told you two ultra-rich brothers bet their entire fortune on silver, not just a little, but a third of the world's supply, and lost billions in a single day? This isn't some wild fiction. It's a true story of greed, power, and one of the biggest market crashes you've never heard of. I want to tell you about Nelson and William Hunt, two oil heirs from Texas. Born into so much money, it's hard to imagine. But with all that cash, they didn't just want to sit pretty, they wanted to make history. Their plan? Buy so much silver that they would control the entire market and become the richest men on Earth. Sounds like a genius idea, right? Well, spoiler alert, it ended in disaster. Chapter 1. Meet the brothers. Let me tell you about Nelson and William Hunt, two brothers who were born into a fortune most people can't even imagine. Their father, H.L. Hunt, made billions from oil, so money was never a problem for them. They literally grew up surrounded by wealth. But just having a lot of money wasn't enough for these brothers. They wanted something bigger. They wanted to become even richer, way richer than anyone else. In the 1970s, the US economy was shaky. Inflation was rising. The dollar was unstable after President Nixon took it off the gold standard in 1971. Investors were looking for a safe place to park their money. Most people thought gold was the answer, but not the Hunts. They saw a different shiny metal, silver. Nelson Hunt believed silver was seriously undervalued. He thought the price could explode, maybe even go 10 times higher. And so began their grand plan: buy so much silver that they could control the market itself. Chapter 2. Buying too much silver. By the end of the 1970s, the Hunt brothers didn't just own silver, they owned silver, like a third of all the silver in the world. To put that in perspective, imagine if you owned a third of every iPhone on the planet. That's how much silver these two guys bought. They bought physical silver, bars, coins, bullion, not just paper contracts. And when they had to move it, they didn't just hire trucks. They chartered multiple Boeing 707 jets to airlift the silver to their Swiss vaults. They were literally flying tons of silver across the sky. But that wasn't enough. They kept borrowing more money, pushing their bets higher and higher. Banks lined up to lend them cash because the Hunt name was respected and the potential profits were huge. Silver prices soared from about $2 an ounce to nearly $50, a staggering 700% jump. Chapter 3. Silver fever takes over. The Hunt brothers weren't the only people caught up in the silver craze. Because they were buying and holding on to so much silver, there wasn't enough left for everyone else. Silver became very hard to find. Stores ran low on silver jewelry, and the prices for rings, necklaces, and other silver items shot way up. People got desperate. Some even started breaking into houses, stealing silver spoons, old coins, and anything made of silver they could find. It wasn't just the rich who wanted silver. Regular folks everywhere were obsessed with it. Silver was suddenly the hottest topic in the news. Everyone talked about it. The Hunt brothers were seen as financial geniuses who might make history by controlling the silver market. The excitement and frenzy kept growing every day. Chapter 4. The empire starts to fall. But here's the twist. The whole thing was a house of cards. On March 27, 1980, a day now called Silver Thursday, the silver market suddenly crashed. In just one day, silver prices dropped by more than half. The price fell from over $50 down to less than $11 an ounce. What caused this? The Hunt brothers could not pay a margin call. This means their lenders demanded more money to cover the huge losses from the loans the brothers had taken to buy silver. When the brothers failed to pay, banks and brokers became scared. Panic spread quickly through Wall Street. The silver empire that was worth billions just a few days earlier began to fall apart fast. Chapter 5. What went wrong? So, how did two ultra-rich men lose billions in a day? Here's the thing. They bet everything on silver. No backup plan, no safety net, just one big, risky gamble. Plus, their massive buying spree attracted government attention. Silver isn't just any metal, it's used in electronics, medicine, even defense. The US government didn't want a couple of billionaires controlling a huge chunk of the global silver supply, especially with foreign investors involved. New trading rules were introduced that limited how much silver people could buy with borrowed money. The Fed pressured banks to stop lending to the Hunt brothers. Suddenly, the flow of easy cash dried up. They still owed billions, but the loans and credit lines they depended on vanished overnight. Chapter 6. Bankruptcy and Lawsuits. The fallout was severe and really tough for the Hunt brothers. They went from being some of the richest men in America to facing huge financial trouble. By 1986, their company had to file for bankruptcy, and just 2 years later, in 1988, the brothers themselves had to declare personal bankruptcy. But even after all that, their problems didn't stop there. In 1988, a court ordered them to pay $130 million in damages to a Peruvian mining company. The court said their risky silver trading caused the crash that hurt the company badly. On top of that, the U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission fined each brother $10 million and banned them forever from trading in commodity markets. Chapter 7. The Unexpected Comeback. Here's a surprising twist. Even after losing so much money and facing bankruptcy, the Hunt family never disappeared from the world of billionaires. A group of big banks and companies stepped in to help. They set up a huge loan, a credit line worth $1.1 billion, to stop the family's empire from completely falling apart. Over the next 10 years, the Hunt brothers sold off their silver slowly to pay back their debts. Bit by bit, they managed to climb back from the edge of financial ruin. And their oil business? It kept growing strong the whole time. So, even after all the chaos, the Hunt family is still very rich today, with a net worth estimated to be around $20 billion. Chapter 8. Lessons from the Hunt brothers. The story of the Hunt brothers isn't just an exciting financial drama, it also teaches us an important lesson about taking risks. The biggest lesson? Never put all your eggs in one basket. No matter how sure you are that something will work out, betting everything on just one thing is very risky. It's like walking on a tightrope without a safety net. Markets can change in a blink of an eye. What seems like a sure win today can turn into a disaster tomorrow. On top of that, the rules that control trading can suddenly change without warning, surprising even the smartest investors. Remember, even the richest people in the world can lose billions in a heartbeat. Money doesn't guarantee safety in the market. That's why diversification isn't just a smart idea, it's absolutely necessary. Spreading your investments protects you when one area goes wrong. Finally, the Hunt brothers' story reveals how greed and overconfidence can blind even the wealthiest. Sometimes, believing you're invincible leads to your biggest downfall. Chapter 9. Is history repeating itself? You might be wondering, could this happen again? In 2021, retail investors tried to create a new silver squeeze, with big claims of silver hitting $100 or even $1,000 an ounce. But it fizzled out before it really started. Today, stricter rules and digital trading platforms make it nearly impossible for anyone to corner the market like the Hunt brothers once did. Still, some say a silver squeeze 2.0 is brewing, with coordinated buying by groups of investors. Will it end in fortune or disaster? Only time will tell. So, what do you think? Was it fair for the government to step in and stop the Hunt brothers? Were they greedy villains, or just bold risk-takers who got burned? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and check out my other videos for more unbelievable tales from the world of money and power. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.